Hi, my name is Maura O'Neill, and I'm on the faculty at UC Berkeley. Boy, these are unprecedented times. A little over a month ago, I had just walked out of my classroom at UC Berkeley, having taught 4 hours, and I looked down at my phone, and it's my daughter-in-law calling. She's panicked. My son has just exited the emergency room at Spokane, Washington Hospital, 1,000 miles away. Turns out that a chest x-ray and a CT scan shows that he has had pneumonia in one of his lungs and perhaps a spot. They're hoping it's not a blood clot. They've put him on a commercial airplane back to Oakland, and in a little less than an hour, he's landing. She's 7 months pregnant. There's a 2-year-old in the household, and we're all scratching our head wondering, is this the dreaded coronavirus? Of course, there's very little testing. We call his healthcare plan. We see if he can get tested. They say, no way. It's only if he's on a ventilator, near death, is a test available. And it brings me back to when he was 17. That was the last time I was in the hospital with him. Seattle Children's Hospital. He had had a burst appendix, and for 7 days and 7 nights, I sat next to his bedside, wondering if the broad set of antibiotics that they were administering to him would kill all of the toxins in his body, or whether those toxins would get him next. I didn't know if I had the stamina to actually go through this a second time, but I knew as a mom I had to show up. Just like you are asked, as we are asked in business and with our family, to show up as leaders in this unprecedented time. But we're real people, and we've got to understand that we are going to be called on in ways that we never imagined, just like I was that Saturday afternoon. So what I want to do is share with you 3 tips. I think they're really powerful tips, because at the end of the day, it is how it is that we show up as a leader at times like this that everyone is going to remember. Maya Angelou said to us, and I will always remember this as long as I live, it is not what we say as a leader, it is not how we act, it is how we make people feel. So the first thing, and the first most important tip I'm going to give you is take care of yourself. I know that sounds cliche, but as leaders, we are the last ones to take care of ourselves. If you're like me, and I bet you are, you want to be on speed dial, or everybody else wants you to be on speed dial during an emergency. You're available to your next door neighbors, your dogs, your employees, your kids, and yet at the end of the day, you're running on fumes by the time it's all over. So the most important thing you need to do, just like you have to do in an airplane, is take care of yourself. And what you need to do is not just take care of yourself physically, but take care of yourself emotionally. Figure out whether it's a spiritual or faith tradition, or whether it's just profound quiet time for just a few minutes. Each and every day, figure out what nurtures your soul, what fills your vessel, what gives you the stamina to actually bring your best every day, because that's what we need, and we need you to be at your best, because this isn't going to go away tomorrow, and it's going to need your best. So the first thing is take care of yourself. The second thing is to be ruthlessly honest. Now, this is a time that's scary. It's scary for all of us. We don't know when this is going to last. We don't know when we can reopen, whether it's our classes, whether it's our companies, whether it's our organizations, our employees, our students, our people are going to be asking. They're going to wonder whether they have a job. We're going to wonder whether we're going to have customers at the end of this. We're going to wonder whether we can pay our bank loans, whether our mortgage payments. And so what I'd say is, at the end of the day, what you deserve and what everybody deserves is for you to be ruthlessly honest. That means you're not going to have all the answers. That doesn't mean that you have to be a scaredy cat in front of everybody. They are looking for you to be that leader that can lead them into this uncertainty. But it doesn't mean that you have to have all the answers and have figured it out. In fact, just the opposite. We're only going to get through this together. The fact of the matter is, it will require more than ever before that we do this together. So ask for help. Delegate more than you used to. Let people know that if they step up, can we create a better future for all of us? And that includes your kids. So you will be amazed, whether it's your management team, whether it's your kids, whether it's the person next door. If you ask them to step up, you will be amazed at their creativity. In fact, I believe and know for certain that ordinary people are capable of extraordinary things, because after all, that's the only thing that's ever changed the world, is ordinary people doing extraordinary things in massive amounts. So the third thing that leads me to is be creative. Be creative early, often, and again, because that is what these times call for more than anything. So I'll give you an example of two different companies in the same industry that I think took very different approaches. And what I bet is when the story is written, they'll have very, very different outcomes. They were both restaurants. In fact, one is a restaurant chain, and they're both James Beard's Awards. So the industry had recognized them as the best of the best. In one case, right after this happened, the founder of the company laid off 800 people out of 13 restaurants, and they all said, go get unemployment, I'm going to get unemployment, and that was that. Another restaurant, Canlis, very upscale restaurant, third generation, what they did was they stayed up all night and they said, what are we going to do? We have 100 employees. We charge $135 fixed price. Well, I don't think anybody's going to be wanting that tomorrow. But we got assets and we got people and we want to figure out what to do. So they stayed up all night. They said, we got great produce. We got great people. We got great cooking ability. So you know what they did? They said, okay, we're going to start and we're going to open up for breakfast as a bagel shed. We're going to open up during the day as a drive-through burger joint. Can you imagine? $135 to a drive-through burger joint. And I was there the first day, and they were awesome burgers. And they had veggie melts for those who didn't eat meat. And then for those who wanted a nicer meal, they would actually deliver it to you. Not $135. They were more $45 a person. But they knew that even during this time, some people wanted to splurge for that nice meal, and they would deliver it if you lived in the city of Seattle. So they said, you know what? And they created a hashtag in Seattle, says, we've got you, Seattle. And you know, what Maya Angelou said is, we will remember those people who stepped up. But, you know, it didn't get any better. A week later, it got worse. Our governor said, we've got a shelter in place. We've got to stay home. So people weren't going out buying bagels, and they weren't actually going out to get those awesome burgers. And so a week later, they had to shut down the bagel shed and the drive-through burgers. And so they said, well, what else could we do? Well, they looked at these awesome farmers and these people who delivered incredible pork chops and chickens. And they said, okay, we're going to open our parking lot. And once a week, we are going to have all those farmers, we're going to pack them into boxes, community-supported agriculture. We're going to go online. And now every week, you can go to this very fancy restaurant, go online, and they're sold out for at least the last couple weeks. So that's an example of a community restaurant that stepped up, reinvented themselves, and said, we're going to be part of the solution. So what I'd say is, for each and every person that is watching this, whether you're not for profit, whether you're a church, whether you're a university, whether you're a community group, whether you're a stay-at-home family. I know what I know for sure is that you can be part of the solution, and in a small way or in a very, very big way. And that's what we need. That's what America is built on. That's what your country, if you are overseas, is built on. And that's what's going to pull us through. So I hope that you will join me in being the most creative self you've ever been, to be inspired by what your neighbors are doing, by what others are doing, and think about the tremendous assets. So again, think about these three things, these very powerful things. First, take care of yourself. And I'm serious. I'm not a mom for nothing. Take care of yourself. And I know that because I got busted from my kids the other day when I was asking them to do that same thing, and I realized I wasn't doing a very good job myself. The second thing is to be ruthlessly honest, even when it hurts, even when the news isn't very good, and even when you are asking them to be part of that solution. And the third is to think about being creative, and you're going to have to be creative again and again and again. And what we know is that in 2008, some of the most iconic companies thrived and built, and we know that new creative parts of the economy will emerge in ways that we've never seen before, and maybe you'll be part of that. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. Please continue to have a relationship with us. Berkeley wants to be there for you and help you, and we thank you for being here today. My name's Maura O'Neill, and thanks for being here. Oh, and by the way, I want to tell you, my son's all mended, and I hope you and your family stay safe. And for those of you who get the virus, that you mend well as well.